Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to the channel. This is Dellora Studios. I am Tony Dellora, and you are watching my first ever YouTube video. I'm really excited about this because I've been wanting to put out this channel for a really long time, and I finally got all the pieces to fall into place to allow me to record, create, and share music content with you guys through this amazing platform. So, that being said, who am I? Why did I make this channel? Like I said earlier, I'm Tony Dellora. I started getting into music back in high school, growing up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and since then, I've been writing and recording music for about 6 years now. In those past 6 years, I've paid for countless beats. I've paid people to mix my music, produce and master my music for Spotify. And what I came to the conclusion of is that I should just learn how to do all of that myself. So I bought FL Studio 20, and in the past year and a half, I have jumped full force into learning how to produce, mix, and master my own music for streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud. On that note, check out the description for links for Tony Dellora on Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud. So, all that being said, this channel is definitely going to be focused around creating music, specifically creating music in FL Studio 20, as that is the DAW that I use. I plan to put out a lot of content of making beats, showing you guys some mixing techniques, showing you guys how to get your music ready for platforms such as Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, and then most importantly, I have a lot of plans to put out videos teaching some music theory, which I think is the most important big ticket item that gets looked over by a lot of people first getting into music. However, as this is my first video, I'm just going to keep things simple, and we're just going to make a hip-hop beat in FL Studio. So I'm going to stop talking and let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to need is a BPM, so let's go up here, let's tap one out. Okay, 85. Okay, so seeing as this is a hip hop and rap beat, we're gonna need those drums to kick really hard because that's what the person rapping to it is gonna hear, and that's what's really gonna drive this song. So we're gonna do our drums first, make sure those are solid, and then we'll add some melody and chord progressions over that. First thing we need to find is we need to find a kick. Alright, that one's kind of cool. Okay, I like that. That's like a nice solid kick right there. Okay, so we filled 4 bars worth, right? So this is 4 bars, but we're gonna do an 8-bar pattern just to give it a little bit more variety, give it a little bit more length. Yeah, okay, so that sounds pretty good. So the next thing we're gonna want is we're gonna want a snare. I think for this beat, I'm pretty much just gonna have the snare on every second and fourth chord note. That should give me that good rhythm I'm looking for. So what you can do is you can select it all, take the brush up here, slide it over, and just copy paste that. Those are the biggest parts. I think the kick and the snare, really, if you get that pattern right, everything else on top is kind of flavoring. That's what most people can rap to, is just the kick and the snare. But what I've been doing recently, and I like to do a lot, is layer the snares. So that snare was very crisp. What you can do is you can fool around with layering a wider snare, like kind of a snare with some reverb on it type of thing over it, or at least over some of the snares to kind of give it this like ringy effect. So that one could work. That's kind of cool. Okay, see, I like that. So that's like a rim hit with some reverb on it. So I'm thinking just for starters, we can just try every second quarter note. But it's not on every one, because if you put it every one, it would just get boring. Just listen to how old this gets. Or so you see how it adds that variation, it makes it interesting. I guess we could try hats next. Okay, so I think we finally we picked one. Actually, I think this is the pack that comes with FL Studio. They have your basic 808 hat right here. So let's try filling every 4 steps. So that's kind of boring, doesn't really do much. We can fill every 2 steps. So we're going to try to add some variation to this. And basically, there's no rhyme or reason to this necessarily. It's kind of just, what do you hear? What do you think might sound cool? Down here, you can see these are the velocities of the notes. So I can change how loud the notes are played. You could have it roll down maybe. And basically, I'm just gonna mess with this until I find something that sounds kind of cool. Usually I'm a fan of the roll up. Yeah. We can just add some variation. So this will give it a little bit of a shuffle. So we kind of have like it played high, played low, played high, played low. So just give it a little bit of feel to it, a little bit of rhythm. Hi-hats take me a bit of time, I'll be honest. So skipped ahead, but this is the final product that I came up with. Actually, I'm gonna try something with these rolls. What's kind of cool to do is you can take them and just bump them up a little bit. So you can bump them up like that's an octave, bump them up like a semitone or two. Take these, bump them up as well. And then with this one actually at the end, we'll drop that down. So this is probably the end of this hi-hat line. Took a fat minute, but we're here. Now, usually I like to add like an open hi-hat to it. So that's a good natural sounding one. But since, again, like this drum beat, we're not really going for that natural sound anymore. Let's look at what we can find as far as kind of like a trap open hi-hat. So we've got some ones here. See this. So we'll just keep doing that third block for the rest of the beat. Because this open hat's just to add some variation, but it sounds, you know, the rest of the beat is pretty variable. We are gonna find a different open hat though. I do not like that one.
3 hours later.
The only thing is you can double it up, so we can try doubling up right there. Alright, so we're gonna move on to melody, but I'm gonna take a break. Alright, so now that we got a pretty solid 8-bar drum loop, the next thing is we're gonna look at some chords and some melody to throw on top of this and try to have this start looking like an actual song. So first we're gonna go up here, we're gonna make a new pattern. I'm gonna call it melody. We'll put that out here for about 8 bars. Now since this is my first video, we're gonna keep things kind of simple. We're just gonna look through a mini pack that I have, try to find some quick inspiration. Now before we start working on this melody, we're gonna need an instrument. So we're gonna go over here, we're gonna pull up the channel rack. We're gonna click this little plus button. This is what we call FL keys. Really basic plugin that comes in. Basically it's just a nice little piano. And let's start dragging and dropping melodies and see if we can find something cool. So I'm gonna try this guy first. Nope, nope. All right, next one. What about gamed? Game sounds cool. Ooh. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do that one. Alright guys, so since this is a new YouTube channel, I have a lovely 10-minute time limit that I have to adhere to. So we're gonna be splitting this first beat up into 2 videos, if not 3 or 4. In this video, we programmed our drums and picked out our basic melody, and in part 2, we're really gonna pick apart that melody, make it our own, and see if we can't make this beat really shine. Additionally, if there's time in part 2, we'll be laying down a bass line, working with some 808s to give this beat that modern rap sound. Further down the line, we'll arrange the song into a full rap beat, and I may or may not rap on it. We'll see. But that is all for now. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to drop a like. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. And if you got any other requests, questions, or anything else on your mind, be sure to drop a comment down below. Also, be sure to check out my Spotify, Tony Dellora, for my first ever single right here called Maybe Till I'm 30, which just dropped. I'm super proud of this song because it's the first song I've done completely by myself. I didn't have to pay anyone for anything in the process. I produced it, recorded it, mixed, and mastered all by myself, and I'm extremely proud of how it turned out. So if you have a minute, please go give it a listen and let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. It's also on SoundCloud and Apple Music and every other platform TuneCore provides too. That being said, it's been a pleasure cooking beats with you today, and I'll see you in part 2.